As I'm coming to the end of this series of podcasts, which has to do with racketeering, corruption within our legal system, our judiciary, our executive, and just the time has arrived, or so you think, that you can breathe easy. And the elections are upon us. Yes, the damn elections. Elect who? What for? Do you know them? Have you met with them? Why do you go around voting for them? That's the question I have been asking. And it dawned upon me, as it often does, strange things go through my mind. A sobering thought. Voting, for me, as an experience, is akin to giving Viagra to my rapist. I don't think I need to repeat that. You can press the rewind button. How many of the politicians have you met? How many of our so-called esteemed leaders and legislators have you had the pleasure of or experience of getting something positive from? The world's best continuously turn out to be nothing but a pile of much hyped garbage and nothing more. MIT. Oh yes. We are going to balance in a small equation all colors, all and sundry. The former president of Harvard happens to be a female who also is of African American or black origin, accused of plagiarism, started with anti-Semitism, ended up with her resigning. MIT, white woman, Israeli, MIT professor, PhD, plagiarism, same as Harvard, MIT, meet the incompetent and the corrupt and the cheaters. What is it that we still fail to understand? My cousins, my nephews, who have come through the US education system, the first thing all and sundry from California to New York they said was and is, you learn to cheat. You're going to learn your job once you get your job. In the meantime, you lie and cheat. Here are the two primary examples. Is it anti-Semitism? Is it anti-whiteism? Is it anti-blackism? Or is it just blatant stupidity that we sit on our ass, we do nothing, and we expect the system to change? Holding shit in both palms of our hands facing the sun, squinting, blinded, waiting for it to turn to gold. Can't even smell it no more. Whimpering, quietly gnawing, grunting, grinding at each other, in between shooting each other's brains out. Our wonderful civilization has reached its pinnacle of stupidity, and even artificial intelligence is repeatedly being found stupid and lacking in rational common sense. But billions are to be made. Somebody once asked me at a lecture, how good do you have to be to become a millionaire or to become a successful or a success story? My impromptu answer was, looking at the circumstances and looking all around me, it's not the competence of a person that enables one to become rich, famous, and successful. It's the incompetence of the recipient that is the enabler. Hold your hands up in shame, because that is us, the public, Joe public, Jane public, Karen public, whosoever your name happens to be. We sit on our ass, we do nothing, and we are full of excuses. So the system doesn't change. 34 trillion will soon become 35 trillion. And the next generation will be angrier and more lost because of the incompetence and stupidity of us and our forebearers. So on and so forth. An intelligent person learns from other people's mistakes. A decent person learns from his own mistakes. And a stupid person never learns. Hello? Did I ring your bell? Did anything happen between your ears? Did your conscience, your intellect, your decency, did it even stir? I hope so, even though I doubt it. We are searching for our little piece of heaven. And the search continues among the mirth, the mire, and the mysteries of our promised land. Blessed are politicians and the upholders of law. So saith the Devil's Bible. We must be doped out of our skull with stupidity that we still cannot smell the mountain of filth we are being buried under. Yes, we, us, the schmucks. Now, to add to our process of stupefaction, along comes quietly a name alien to most Americans because it's neither Christian nor does it carry a black face. Adnan Syed, 23 years spent behind bars due to criminality of the members of our state bars, faculties of law, or as I politely refer to them as sewer rats, with a third-rate degree that qualifies them for nothing. Really, qualifies them for nothing. Except to go and research law, and hopefully they have enough intellect to put forward some reasonable statements. Most of the time, they fail miserably. But they do claim sovereign entitlements to incompetence, arrogance, and corruption without fear of accountability. Welcome to the real world. That is, if you just crawled out from under a rock. To those mere mortals who are focused on 401 and 501ks and forever have an eye on investment portfolios, plus undying faith in super PACs and mega churches, the daughter of a loving family was murdered by strangulation. Somebody's darling daughter. Facts state, Hae Min Lee was a Korean-American high school student who was last seen alive on January 13, 1999 in Baltimore County, Maryland. Her body was found 4 weeks later in Leakin Park. She had been killed by manual strangulation. Lee's ex-boyfriend, Adnan Masood Syed, was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years. Well, yeah, it's US math plus US legal practice, so do your own sums. In 2014, the podcast Serial covered the killing, which brought renewed attention to the case. In 2016, Judge Martin P. Welch vacated Syed's conviction and ordered a new trial. That decision was upheld by the Maryland Court of Special Appeals in 2018, but overturned by the Maryland Court of Appeals in 2019. I'm getting dizzy. Seriously. My brain is unable to keep up with it, even though all my life I have been told I'm a highly intelligent person. So, I'm going to do my best to continue. Following an investigation by prosecutors that uncovered new evidence, a judge again vacated Sayyid's conviction in September 2022. On October 11, 2022, prosecutors announced that the charges against Sayyid had been dropped, effectively exonerating him. However, on March 28, 2023, Sayyid's conviction was reinstated by an appellate court. What the hell is this? A bunch of monkeys throwing poop at each other when it's their turn? Very much so. That's how the law is practiced, especially in the South, like the state of Georgia, Louisiana. Come down. Listen to the attorneys. Not that they're very effective and intelligent, but they will tell you stories that will horrify you. Let's continue. The court stayed the effective date of the decision for 60 days. In May, the Maryland Supreme Court extended the stay of the conviction reinstatement pending the resolution of the appeal. On November 25, 2019, the Supreme Court of the United States rejected Sayyid's appeal for a new trial. Maryland Attorney General Brian Kemp responded to the Supreme Court's decision by stating the evidence linking Sayyid to Lee's death is overwhelming, and in a statement, we remain confident in the verdict that was delivered by the jury and are pleased that justice for Hae Min Lee has been done. In September 2022, prosecutors filed a motion to vacate Sayyid's conviction. According to the motion, the state had committed Brady violations by failing to turn exculpatory evidence over to Sayyid during the course of his trial, and prosecutors had since uncovered new evidence that cast doubt on Sayyid's conviction. Conviction for murder has to be without a shadow of doubt. So says the civilized society. So far what you heard is a pile of poop from the gutter to the much vaunted Supreme Court, the US Supreme Court. Yep, self-serving maggots who don't even know their own laws. If you are listening to the podcast, they did not even comply with their own rules, with their own laws, when they denied me certiorari. It's there in black and white. You can hire a third-rate attorney at the cheapest rate and he or she will read it to you, provided he or she has literacy skills. After all, they are a JD, just like the PhD, not worthy of a piece of paper to wipe your ass with. Anyhow, the motion cited two Brady violations. First, it said that the prosecution had suppressed evidence related to other potential suspects. Second, it said that the prosecution had failed to disclose the identity of a suspect who had previously threatened Lee's life and had the means, motive, and opportunity to kill Lee. The motion detailed that there were two chief alternate suspects. One of the suspects had threatened to kill Lee. Lee's car was found parked behind a house in Baltimore that belonged to one of the suspects. And one of the two was convicted of serial rape after Sayyid's trial. Okay, I may be a mental health rehab specialist, but I need an intervention because I have seen some stupidity and some poor rationale in my life. But this is US stupidity, legal stupidity of the highest order at the highest level. And then the schmucks, the so-called white trash, the so-called rednecks, they get up and they abuse me because I am standing up to a corrupt system Who the hell does he think he is? That's what they all yell. That's what they all holler. And they give their 2 cents worth of advice. It's time for him to move state. You know, the native whites of the US of A. Let's move on. Finally, the motion expressed concerns about the reliability of the cell phone records and witness testimony used at the trial. More details can be found from any decent source of information. As for now, it suffices that Adnan Syed is seeking arrest and prosecution of his persecutors. To you, the highly intelligent, ingenious schmucks, that means all lawyers, all members of legal fraternity involved in his trial. They were all criminals. They are all criminals. But as you will see, they come with a Teflon coating. Racketeering. When you are conjoined in criminal enterprise, is called racketeering. Ask the state bar. Ask any state bar outside of the United States. United States state bar sits on his ass and says, oh, hallelujah, they're all corrupt, they're all stupid, we have no power over them. It's entirely up to each state to monitor their state bar. Seriously. Go check it out. Google it. You know, Google it. You trust it. God, Google one thing. Same thing. What's the difference for you? When you pull your head out of your ass, how would you know what reality is? I'm going to continue for now. Adnan Syed said his family's rights were violated and he's asking Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown to open an investigation. I've asked the DOJ to do that many a times. So did Senator John Ossoff's office. So did Senator Warnock's office. Still waiting. 3 years and more and counting. All this crap started 10 years ago. There are people in the queue 30, 40 years prior to me. They're still waiting. But we are the world's policemen. Did you not know that? Policeman my ass. You can't clean the fecal matter of your ass properly. Never mind be the world policeman. Look at the innocent who are being persecuted in this great, great, great country of ours. Isn't that right, Mr. President Trump? Syed spent more than 20 years in prison after a jury convicted him in 2000 for the killing of Hae Min Lee in 1999. All we have ever wanted to do is prove that I'm innocent. So said Syed. When Hae Min Lee's family will get closure, only God knows. One thing for certain, God does not come near this God-forsaken country for the way it is. Because it's pure filth. Who in their right mind will even drive by it? Except for us who live in it, because we don't smell it anymore. That's true. You live in shit for too long, your sense of smell dies with it. So does your sense of right or wrong. So does common decency. So does humanity. Where do you think the children are drawing rage from? Fentanyl? The black man? The Indian? Stop blaming your stupid idiots, everybody else. Stand in front of the mirror and look at the shit that's stuck to your forehead. When your US Supreme Court is a pile of filth, what do you expect to filter down? This is just one story I'm narrating. I have more to go. Today, Syed is a free man thanks to a podcast and not the mainstream media. And thankfully, my incessant urge to self-medicate has somewhat dissipated for now.